Close your eyes. I want you to take a deep breath in and hold it for 10 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then slowly release the air. Feel your heartbeat slow down to a nice, steady rhythm. Keep breathing deeply. And with every inhale, I want you to gather up some of the tension and stress in your body. Gather it in your lungs, and then exhale it out. Feel that negativity leave your body like a puff of smoke, leaving your body more relaxed and more open than when we started. Breathe in and out. Feel your body relax and unwind. The wave moves onward, up your back and spine, releasing all that pent-up energy and allowing you to rest easy. You are safe, and you are protected. The wave passes over your abdomen and your chest, sliding down your arms. Feel it in your biceps and triceps, your forearms and fingers, all relaxing. Slowly, the wave passes up your neck and into your face, into your eyelids and your lips, until your entire body is completely relaxed. All tension is gone, and you are more receptive to everything I say. No stress, no negativity, just relaxation and openness. And with your physical body now relaxed, I want you to focus on your mind. Focus on all those little buzzing thoughts and emotions, the memories of the past day, any anxieties or fears you might have. Focus on them and feel them. And then, like a plug has been pulled on your mind, feel them all drain away, slowly and carefully, spiraling down, round and round and round your mental drain, and gradually emptying your mind, emptier and emptier, until all that negativity is completely gone. Feel how peaceful it is now that you no longer have those intrusive thoughts in your head. Sit in this mental silence and relish in it. Nothing can break this tranquility. No outside influence. Your mind is a sanctuary that lets in one thing: my words, my commands. And as the silence in your mind grows, As the emptiness expands and consumes you, you feel your mind transforming into a total abyss. Deep, dark, empty, bottomless. Your mind, now empty, gives you free access to the subconscious. Envision that abyss before you, a deep, black void, abject emptiness, and yet it calls out to you. It beckons to you, and you take the first step into your abyss. 1. Slowly sinking down into the emptiness of your own mind. 2. Feel it consume you as you go deeper and deeper. 3. The deeper you go into the abyss, the more open you are to my words and suggestions. 4. The abyss lets you realize that my words are your truth. My words are your reality. 5. Halfway to being completely submerged in your mental abyss. 6. Feel any resistance or apprehension that you might have felt completely disappear into the abyss. 7. The more open your mind becomes to my suggestions, the deeper you sink. 8. Feel it suck you in, embracing you with warmth and love. 9. You sink up to your neck, the feeling of emptiness and peace almost all-consuming. 10. Completely covered and entirely at ease. Your entire mind and body given over to the trance. You experience nothing but my trance and the abyss. And you love this feeling. Feel the abyss once again consume you, taking you further into trance. Through trance, all things are possible. In the depths of the inky abyss, all you need to worry about are my words. Echoing in the darkness, my words and suggestions. No thoughts to disturb the trance, just silence. No resistance to block the infinite possibilities of the abyss, just freedom as you sink down and down and down. The void responds to my voice, and it ebbs and flows with you. As you breathe in, the darkness swells, and as you breathe out, it recedes, growing and shrinking around you, becoming morphable and malleable with each rise and fall of your chest, rippling outward and slowly sinking up with you to produce something more. The abyss wraps around your body, taking over your senses, taking over your consciousness. and producing for you a vivid, realistic mindscape, a fantasy that blurs the line between dream and reality. Your mind is capable of so many wonderful things, so just let it produce this small, isolated reality within the abyss. Feel it take form and become solidified around you. First, the smell, the sharp scent of cold air and pine that perks up your nerves and invigorates you. Then, the sound, the shuffling of long, luxurious furs and capes, the attire of nobility. The feeling of unmistakable power stood just behind you, emanating an aura of absolute control. And then finally, a flash of color. First, a bright, frosty, magical blue that resolves into the color of your skin, and the sheen of a mirror as you stand before your own reflection. You have once again been transported to the realm of the Winter King. Your memories of your previous excursions come back to you, the king showing off his palace, and finally laying out his promise, or perhaps his threat, that you would soon be his, an obedient servant to command like the rest of the blissfully entranced horde. You look back in the mirror to see the irises of your eyes glowing around the edge with stunning blue light. You quickly turn, and the Winter King is still standing behind you, the tall, regal personage bedecked in lush furs, his owl perched upon his shoulder. He chuckles and smiles at you, which sends a shiver of cold down your spine. See, I told you, blue is such a lovely color. Don't worry, child. You won't be forced to make that decision just yet. I think I shall let you freshen up for me a bit, and then we can dine. Your dinner should be finished by then. I think that's reasonable, don't you? A nice bath and then a filling meal provided entirely by me. The logic is undeniable and very enticing, and you're almost surprised to find yourself nodding yes to his requests. Good. My friend here shall stick with you to make sure you don't get yourself lost in all these winding halls. Goodness knows what would happen if you took the wrong turn somewhere. We wouldn't want that at all, now would we? The pure, snow-white owl flaps over to you and lands atop the table behind which the mirror that exposed your reflection is posed. I'll see you soon, my child. Don't keep me waiting too long for dinner. And with that, the Winter King turns on his heel and leaves the servants' quarters, leaving you with the owl and your reflection, the glaring blue constantly catching your eye. You stand just a moment in the silence before the owl calls your attention and flutters through the doorway, obviously calling you to follow her. She hoots her way down the hall, and you follow after her, almost compelled by the lyrical coo. You walk down the corridor, guided by your avian companion, back to the nice wooden door that led you into the crystal bathroom that you encountered before. You open the door, and you are once again hit with the comforting smell of pine and peppermint that lights up your senses. In the center of the room, the glass bathtub is illuminated by the stream of perfect, filtered light of the sunset from the skylight above you. It entices you with a nice, warm, gently steaming bath drawn for you by the servant that has vacated the room for your privacy. The owl perches on the edge of the tub and nods towards the bath, and then turns her head 180 degrees to give you a semblance of modesty. The hint is obvious, and you start to strip, taking off each article of clothing, one by one, exposing more and more of your skin to the cold air of the castle. The clothes fall to the ground, the old fabric that you've worn since your fateful excursion into the enchanted forest not making a sound as it hits the floor. You stand completely naked, exposed and vulnerable to the cold air of the palace. The warm bath seems more inviting by the moment, so you step forward and you climb into the tub, your toe breaking the surface of the water. It feels so perfect, not too hot, and the perfect refuge from the almost psychic chill of the castle that you experience when you are not in the Winter King's immediate presence. The fragrant steam wafts up your nose, and you feel your entire body just unwind, all the tension and resistance leaving you as you sink into the tub, the warm water covering your skin, past your legs, your torso, and finally stopping at your chin. Feels so good in this warmth and comfort, like the stress and resistance is being leached from your body by the water. It feels so good to just drift away, the grime and dirt dissolving like it's nothing. You float there, suspended in perfect bliss, and time seems to slip around you. How long have you been floating in this tub? Seconds, minutes, hours, days, a lifetime of eternal bliss in the Winter King's domain. More and more time lost to it, floating and bobbing in the water. You can almost hear his voice as if he was right behind you. But you don't flinch. Instead, you just listen, too relaxed by the warm bath to put up a fight. Feels so good, doesn't it? Feeling all your worries and stress just go away. That warmth against the bitter cold. You'd give in to it in a second. Now imagine feeling this good for the rest of your life. Every waking moment spent awash in endless bliss. That is what my subjects get as a reward for their service. Don't you want that? Don't you want to feel good? Don't you want to submit? Feels so good spending time here. You are mine, dear child. Just submit. Just submit. Just The owl's call interrupts your reverie, and you open your eyes with a start and see that the sunlight has diminished into the cold, sterile light of the moon directly above you through the skylight. The owl continues to hoot, emphasizing that your bath is done. You draw yourself up from the bath, the water trickling down your skin as you step out of the basin of crystal clear water. You pick up a towel from a nearby table and notice that your clothes are gone, disappeared without a trace. You dry yourself off, wrapping your body in a soft plush towel. It's so warm and luxurious, it almost reminds you of the Winter King's coat, how it wraps around your body and provides you comfort. You turn around, and the Winter King's owl friend is stood upon a brand new set of clothing, accented with beautiful ice blue and frost white, and tailored to fit your proportions exactly right. You finish putting the clothes on, and you turn, looking for a mirror, but there are none in the room. Only the pool of water in the bathtub. So, you walk over, and you look at your reflection. The calm waters reflecting your image, the new clothes, your clean skin, and your eyes, the irises of which now glow brighter, not completely consumed, but edging ever closer to complete blue. "I hope you're done now, child." The Winter King's voice echoes behind you. "Come along now. You've kept me waiting for dinner long enough." He rests his hand on your shoulder and stares you out of the bathroom, the snowy owl flying after him down the long corridor. He strides down the hall, almost floating with regal grace, respectable, powerful. You feel that small voice of intuition in your mind saying that maybe it would be all better with him. You reach the end of the hall at that high oak door that will lead you into the dining hall. The king waves his hand with total nonchalance, and the door swings open on his command. Everything in this place obeys him. You are struck by the light pouring out of the dining room from high crystal chandeliers, reflected by the icy glass wall and refracted through icicles that sparkle and shine and totally mesmerize you. The scent of the freshly cooked meal is mouth-watering, and your stomach grumbles as soon as the aroma tickles your palate. The table is laid out with all manner of delicacy, desserts, entrees, appetizers, each with increasing decadence and obvious deliciousness, all displayed on fine china and opulent silver and crystal. At the table, you see the maid and the butler and a few other scattered servants waiting patiently in blissful silence with smiles on their faces. "It's all for you, my child. I always treat my subjects with love and care. Join me, and you can have this at any time you desire." He walks up to the table, and he takes a seat that looks like a tall, ornate throne of ice and glass, and gestures to a free chair open at his right side. You take the chair, and you sit down beside him, the owl fluttering in to perch upon the table. Laid out before you is all manner of food. You look to the king for approval, and he nods his head. And you dig in. Every dish bursts with flavor, like ambrosia of the gods on your tongue, making your mouth water even more. It fills you and contents your spirit. During the dinner, however, you notice the Winter King does not eat. He just sits there, surveying his subjects and focusing on you in particular. He takes a sip from a crystal goblet and leans down close to you, locking eyes with you, the piercing, chilling blue of his irises being all that you can focus on. It's all quite wonderful, isn't it? But normally, that brilliant blue would have taken you completely by now. There still seems to be a sliver of yourself holding out. How strange. What? But I so rarely do that. Yes. I suppose desperate times call for desperate measures. He stands from his throne and places a hand on your shoulder. Come, child. I think you should see one last room in the castle. Don't worry. The banquet shall still be here when you return, but this is something you simply can't go without. You look down at the food laid out before you, and then up at the imposing royal figure of the Winter King, and you stand as you are compelled to. The king bows to the rest of his servants, and then turns to take you down another corridor. The dark hallway is illuminated on each side by stunning blue lamplights that flicker and flare as the king walks past. Blue lights flashing and receding in response to the king's power. The energy he gives off is almost palpable, making your skin shiver with goosebumps. Such a special little subject. Very few are actually given this opportunity. You should consider yourself quite lucky. You reach a staircase that leads up to a single door on a landing. You take the first step, slowly rising up and up and up, one at a time, and with every step you take, you feel yourself grow heavier, sleepier, foggier, the emanating presence of the Winter King slowly overriding your senses, making your eyes glaze over like frosted glass. Each step taking you closer and closer to the door, until it's right in front of you. The king opens the door, and it swings into a large, lush bedchamber, accented and decorated by all manner of sparkling crystals and ice shards that reflect your image back at you. And the biggest thing that catches your eye is the king-sized bed, perfectly made and plush and soft. It just begs to be laid in. The curtains of ice and snow hang from the bed frame, and this room seems to be even more concentrated with the power of the Winter King. You're quite special. A bit difficult, but that will make this all the better. You look so tired, dear. Just like that last night in in the forest. Remember how I saved you? Saved you from fatigue and weariness. Introduced you to all these wonders. You should lie down again. Lie down in my bed, and everything will be all right. You put up no opposition at all. Even if you wanted to resist, your body simply follows commands, obedient and compliant as ever. Your body hits the covers and you almost sink into the feather pillows and silk sheets. You turn your head and you look into the reflective shards of glass and ice and admire how serene you look, laid out across the bed, almost like an out-of-body experience, disconnecting from yourself. The snowy owl flies into the room and perches itself above the bed, looking down over you again, like it always has. Just lie there for me, dear. You've resisted me long enough. The king looms over the bed, and his eyes flash bright, glowing blue, and you feel the air around you grow thick and cold with frost. The king's power is absolutely undeniable now. So strong, tickling your skin, rushing down your spine and into your nerves. Every inch of ice and snow here was conjured by my power. I am the king of this domain, and everything falls to frost before me, including you. You try to move, but it gets harder and harder as you feel crystals of rock-hard ice inch up your body, starting first at your feet, your legs, binding and encapsulating them together, restricting all motion, trapped inside of a magical ice block. It doesn't hurt, however. It doesn't burn or blister your skin like normal ice. It actually feels quite nice. The pleasurable sensation like the cool blast of peppermint on your skin, mixed with a subtle pleasure hyping up in the background of your subconscious that grows and grows as the ice expands upward, growing up and up and up, past your hips and up your torso, locking your hands in place, keeping your spine straight. No leeway, no flexibility, just the rigid perfection of cold ice. I've grown tired of waiting. You've resisted me long enough. I granted you that freedom, but sometimes you just aren't capable of making those decisions on your own. Sometimes you need a king to rule you and make those choices for you. And I choose for you to submit. Submit and become mine, another happy, blissful servant in my domain. You know you want it. You can feel it. That desire to just give up and be content and happy, to let another lead you. The more he speaks, the more that cocoon of ice and crystal inches up your skin, holding you in place. No motion, no movement. suspended in ice by the Winter King. You can try to move, you can try to squirm, but all you encounter is the unyielding nature of frost. The ice creeps up past your neck and covers your face, your lips, your eyes, slowly edging over the skin. But it feels so good, and you betray yourself with a smile. The ice freezes you in that serene display of enjoyment. As you are trapped and frozen in magical ice, the Winter King taps against it and smiles at you, the light in his eyes growing stronger. Now, darling, you can't move, you can't run. It's just you and me. Don't you like how good my power feels? The ice on your skin, freezing you in place. I can tell you do. The little smile on your face is 1,000 words. Wouldn't you like to know how this feels deep down inside of you? Feeling my power over your very core. He waves his hand, and you feel the chill of ice and the shards of crystal penetrate your mind, overwhelming your psyche with the feeling of blissful frost that covers your skin. God, it feels so good. The fresh feeling of chilled power infiltrating your mind, taking over every facet of your personality, freezing you in that state of euphoria, of joy. This is the true meaning of the Winter King's bliss. You love this feeling, and you will love this feeling for the rest of your life. Mind stuck and still and immobile in enjoyment, in peace, in subservience, in bliss. The Winter King's eyes, clear and cool through the ice, pierce you and increase the spread in your mind. Feel your thoughts slow to a crawl, unable to push through the ice. Your emotions dull down to a mere inkling in comparison to the overwhelming desire for submission and the pleasure of the Winter King. More and more, the ice takes hold until you feel it at the very core of your consciousness, forming crystals, shards, icicles in your brain, until your mind retains this form, hardening like permafrost, eternally frozen in this state of perfect bliss and enjoyment. The king nods and smirks with a self-satisfied air of command. He waves his hand over you, and the ice block that surrounds your physical form recedes, evaporating into a fine mist in the air. But your mind is frozen solid still, thoughts and emotions suspended amid a medium of pure pleasure and submission. Good. You respond so well to this. How silly of me. I should have just done this from the beginning. But I did enjoy getting to play with you. He helps you up off the bed and turns you to one of those reflective shards of ice and crystal. You see yourself distantly dissociating from reality. Smile on your face, enjoyment in your eyes, and the bright, perfect glow of the ice blue entirely filling your irises. So perfect, so happy. Even the world around you seems colored in such regal blue magnificence. The world tinted blue and white and perfect through the lens of the Winter King's magic. This is what it feels like. The peace, the pleasure, the absolute submission to your Lord. That is the life of a servant of the Winter King. You turn to look up at him, and your world is set alight with adoration and loyalty. This is your liege. This is your king. You love him. You serve him. He provided all of this for you. Yes, you finally understand the true wonder of this all. Your eyes match his, and you smile broader, contented and filled with joy to be in his presence and in his service. The Winter King leans down and takes you in a warm, comforting embrace, his furs and robes wrapping around you. You've put up quite the fight, but it's all over now. It's for the best, and you know, I think you deserve something special. You are so precious. I want you to be by my side always. I want to be with you in your mind and in your soul. You are mine, my subject, my servant, my dear child. So, I shall do you the honor of making you my personal servant. With me every day, day and night, enjoying the absolute bliss of my presence. Forever. You love that. And so shall I, my child. So shall I. The Winter King looks in your eyes, and you look in his. The bright, pure, glowing frost blue connecting you both to each other, staying with you forever. Even as the mindscape slowly dissolves around you, the colors and sensations collapsing down into the infinite black nothingness of the abyss. You float amid the void, but what stays with you is that pleasure, that subservience, that bright frost blue, and of course, the Winter King's voice echoing in your mind. Just stay in this abyss. Lay in this void and enjoy yourself for a moment. Now, I'm going to count back up from 10 to 1. When I reach 1, you will awaken from trance, my words forever etched into your mind, and they will remain in your abyss, assisting to bring you down into trance the next time. 10. Feel your abyss relinquish its grasp on you. 9. Slowly rise up out of the abyss, your head just peeking out of the blackness. 8. Feel all my words rush around you. 7. My words are your truth. You love and embody them. 6. My words are your reality. There's no use fighting back. 5. Halfway out of the empty void. 4. Your mind and consciousness slowly resume their place. 3. Feel the suggestions in your mind carve out a home there, permanently. 2. Consciousness almost completely returned, the last foot stepping out of the abyss. 1. Fully awake, aware, and feeling amazing.